Hi, Mike Pecor here from Long Island Hypnotherapy, www.liphypnosis.com, and Tai Chi Kung Fu of Long Island, www.taichili.com. In this short video, what I'd like to do is give you a basic understanding of how I approach hypnotherapy. And this is the approach that guides my creation of the MP3s, the meditations, the specific hypnotic MP3s. All of what I'm about to explain goes into creating these things. First of all, we have to understand that we have a conscious and a subconscious portion of the mind. And that's constantly in flux, what's conscious and what's subconscious. For instance, your phone number, your address, those are things that a moment ago you probably were not thinking about, you weren't conscious of them. But once I mention them, you can pull them up into consciousness, or I should say they rise up into consciousness. So where were they before they came up into consciousness, into awareness? They were in what we would call the subconscious mind. So there's nothing mystical about it. It's just that it's the portion of the mind that's outside of your awareness. Now, people come to Long Island Hypnotherapy or go to any hypnotherapist for a variety of problems. Let's take a very typical example. A person will call me on the phone and say, I've been having this tremendous difficulty going over bridges. I have this enormous sense of impending doom, fear, my heart races. I feel like I have to jump out of the car, and I've started to avoid going over bridges. I'm actually going to have to give up my current job if I don't get this under control because I work in the city and I have to go over a bridge, on and on. Now, the mechanism of the phobia, in other words, the dynamics that bring this fear into play when this person is going over the bridge, really are not they're not the most important thing to understand. The most important thing to understand is how to teach this person how to respond to their thoughts and their feelings in a different way, in a new way, in a proactive way, in a way that will build empowerment, a sense of control, a sense of being in charge of oneself. Here's the basic formula. Whether the person's here because they can't go over a bridge, or they can't stop smoking, or they can't lose weight, or they're addicted to drugs, or they have an anger issue, the bottom line is the same thing. My job is to help this person learn the art of remaining present with their thoughts, with their feelings, no matter what. In other words, what we usually do when we experience fear, when we experience the heart racing, or getting a sense of tightness, or thoughts are racing, we try like heck to get away from it, make it end, distract ourselves. This is precisely what keeps those things in power. The real response, the effective response, the only true way out of this is to welcome in all of your symptoms, all of the feelings of anxiety, all of the fears, the tightness in the chest, the racing heart, the craving for the cigarette, the craving for the extra serving of pasta, whatever it is that seems to be difficult to cope with. The method for overcoming it is to allow it to be present when it's present, and to stay in its presence, and to bask it in your attention, to basically have the attitude of, bring it on. Let's feel that craving. Wow, okay, I feel that. Yes, it's like a pressure inside of me. My hand wants to go reach for that cigarette, or my hand wants to go reach for that jelly donut. Observe that feeling. Have the courage to not fight it, to not run from it, to not try to make it go away, but to study it, examine it, get to know it inside and out. Be comfortable in its presence. You've tried everything else. You've tried to run. You've tried to hide. You've tried to bury it. You've tried to distract yourself. It doesn't work, at least not in any lasting way. So no matter what the situation is, whether it's, again, losing weight, sticking to exercise, overcoming a phobia, getting rid of anxiety, generalized anxiety, no matter what the case may be, building confidence, it all comes down to helping a person recognize that you as the human being, you as the presence within that human being, are not the mind. You are not the mind and you are not the body. But you are privy to the activities of the mind, the movements of the mind, the patterns, the habits of the mind, the idiosyncrasies of the particular mind that you're observing. You are witness to that, privy to that, but you are not that. You are that which perceives the mind, experiences the mind. So there's a space between what you are and what you observe. You observe a mind. And that mind has created an identity with a name and a job and a history and a religion and a political belief system and a certain perspective and hopes, dreams, desires. All of that is contained within the mind. And you are that living thing, presence, perceptive entity that is aware of the mind. So the problems of the mind are the problems of the mind. You have no problem perceiving those problems. You see them clearly. You don't have to change them. You don't have to run from them. You don't have to try to make them go away. Simply look. Have the courage to stay and look. Be present with that which you have up until now been trying to change, alter, mold, escape, avoid. In that very attitudinal shift of staying rooted in the present, come what may, you build into your experience confidence, strength, security, poise, a centeredness, a mindfulness. That's the basic approach. The specifics of each person's mind, story, wants, goals, it's all secondary. Check out some of the MP3s at www.liphypnosis.com and also some of the guided meditations to experience a tremendous sense of relaxation, insight, understanding. Mike Pecor, www.liphypnosis.com, and for Tai Chi instructional videos and Tai Chi fighting application videos, exercises, www.taicchili.com.